And we're back with another video. What's going on, folks? It's your boy Avery Wright here with another NFL Carolina Panthers video for this week. And this will be the matchup for this weekend. This is the preview for this upcoming Week 4 matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. How y'all doing today, man? We're almost done with this week. I hope everyone's been having a really good and blessed week. Hope work hasn't been stressing y'all out too much. Make sure y'all been grinding and still having a little bit of time to relax here and there. But yeah, that's enough about me. We gonna get into this matchup. We have the 1 and 2 Carolina Panthers coming into RNG Stadium to take on the 2 and 1 Houston Texans. Now, the last time these teams met was the 2015 campaign. That was the year the Panthers went 15-1 and went to the Super Bowl and then lost to the Broncos. But they won the Week 2 matchup against the Texans, and the final score of that game was 24-17. And if you don't remember, that's where Cam Newton, during his MVP season, had his iconic flip in the end zone. I think it was like first or second or third down and goal, and then he just went over the goal line, jumped over a defender, did a somersault into the end zone. It wasn't a perfect 10 landing, but that just shows my quarterback can do everything. But again, he will not be starting this weekend. We have Kyle Allen. There was news that came out that Cam Newton actually has a foot fracture, and the team doctors did say that Newton will be out for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. So that means Kyle Allen will be taking the reins. And like I was saying the last time, Kyle Allen is the backup quarterback, and as long as he can still keep this team winning, then we should be fine. Because as long as Cam can get back to 100% health and he comes back being our starter, we're golden. I mean, I can kind of see it almost happening, like if we get into playoff contention. Like I said, we just got to take it one game at a time. But if it could be like the Nick Foles and Carson Wentz kind of thing, but over in Carolina. But I digress. With this game, going up against Deshaun Watson, the boy out of Clemson, the national champion Deshaun Watson from Clemson. And he's been playing really well this year, man. So far in the year for Deshaun Watson, he's had 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he has 778 yards passing. And he really balled out last week against the Chargers, man. I mean, he balled out even week 1. He's been balling out these first 2 weeks. But last week, he did throw his first interception, but he threw for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception and 351 yards. Now, I believe this will be the Panthers' main problem, is Deshaun Watson. Because he's a dual threat quarterback, and he kind of reminds me of a mix of Russell Wilson and Cam Newton. Only because he's very elusive like Russell Wilson, but he can also shrug off defenders, use his strength to shrug off defenders like Cam Newton. And it's more so Russell Wilson-esque, because as soon as Deshaun Watson takes off, he doesn't just look to pick up the first down. He's still looking down the field to scan. And that's going to be the biggest problem. And if you watched that game that they had against the Chargers last week, that's what they were doing a lot of the times when Joey Bosa and those boys couldn't get to Deshaun. He would just kind of shrug him off, and then he would just look for the man downfield or try to pick up the first down. Deshaun Watson is the main threat for this defense. Other than that, I mean, Carlos Hyde, to me, he was their running back, and Carlos Hyde, he's only had 1 rushing touchdown so far in the year with 192 yards. Carlos Hyde doesn't scare me. I'm a fan of Carlos Hyde, but I believe Luke Kuechly, Shaq Thompson, and those boys can stop Carlos Hyde. I mean, if they can stop Todd Gurley, they can stop Carlos Hyde. But yeah, this is also the same defense that let Peyton Barber run amok last week. Granted, that was in the second half, and that was mostly because the offense couldn't get off the field. But again, I digress. And the weapons, man, Deshaun Watson has weapons. Where do I start? I mean, obviously, you got to start with the big name, a top 5 receiver in this league, in D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins. And so far on the year for D-Hop, he has 2 touchdowns with 218 yards. But also, he still has 2 other threats. He has the speedster in Kenny Stills, who will probably be lined up in the slot or might be out there to the right-hand side. And we also have the experienced man, Will Fuller, the 4th. And those three weapons right there, Deshaun Watson has been blessed with those weapons, man. And I feel like because DeAndre Hopkins will probably be matched up against James Bradberry, who, yeah, I'm considering a shutdown corner, like I said last week. James Bradberry he'll probably have the duty of facing DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm really ready to see what he can do, because this will really be James Bradberry's toughest test. I mean, the brother has locked down Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, AJ Green, and those are big name receivers. So this will be his first. I mean, he's already had a real test, but this is DeAndre Hopkins his hands are out of this world, and his speed and his route running is just, it's impeccable. So it'll be nice to see what James Bradberry can do up against DeAndre Hopkins. But a note on James Bradberry, why do I say that he is a shutdown corner? Because James Bradberry, when targeted, he has the third lowest passer rating when throwing his way. The third lowest passer rating. So James Bradberry will shut you down. Like I said, James Bradberry is not the type of dude that's a ball hawk, but he just plays sound fundamental defense. Whereas on the other side, where we have Dante Action Jackson, who I think will probably be matched up with Kenny Stills. Speed versus speed, man. I mean, Kenny Stills has speed, and Dante Jackson has speed too. Those two are going to be going at it, and that will be another good matchup to see. But unlike James Bradberry, Dante Jackson is a ball hawk. Dante Jackson is always looking for an interception, while James Bradberry is just trying to stop and get pass breakups and pass deflections, which is fine by me. I like to use the analogy of for basketball, because basketball is my favorite sport. Dante Jackson's on defense, he's one of those guys who's kind of like a Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook type guy, who's always looking for the steal and has really good hands and can steal the ball. Whereas James Bradberry is more of just a sound defensive guy. He can try and steal the ball, but most of the time he's just worried about making sure that you don't score, or he might get a block. Those guys like Tony Allen. Actually, no, Tony Allen still gets them. He's pretty scrappy and gets steals. More like people like Andre Robertson or Thabo Sefolosha back in his prime. They didn't really get a whole lot of steals, but they played sound fundamental defense that ultimately helped out their team. And that's for the offensive side. On the defensive side, though, they have Jonathan Joseph, who's their cornerback, their number one corner. And this defense, to be honest, I don't really think is all that good. Bill O'Brien's defense is pretty, I want to say subpar, but that doesn't mean we could take them lightly. It's the NFL. Again, any given Sunday. Their defense right now ranks 22nd in the league. And the defense is kind of bad when your starting cornerback, and Jonathan Joseph is leading the team in tackles with 23. And right behind him is their safety, Justin Reed, who is Eric Reed's younger brother. And there was a whole interview that came out earlier today how Eric Reed was so stoked to play his brother. And it's a funny story that Eric Reed actually in high school, he actually played running back, but he lost his spot to Eddie Lacy. Yup, the boy who's not even in the league anymore. So then he got moved to safety. And it was a similar story with his brother Justin. His brother Justin played running back as well, but he got moved to safety because it was another running back. I forgot who it was. It's a well-known running back, but he lost his spot too. And so I guess those boys were just meant to play safety, But Justin Reed is second, leading the team in tackles with 21. And to be honest, J.J. Watt is a threat, but J.J. Watt isn't how J.J. Watt used to be. But with me saying that, knowing the Panthers, J.J. Watt might have a big day, But since Jadeveon Clowney has left, a lot of people don't really have to worry about two defensive ends. Now you just got to worry about, you could just double up J.J. Watt. But with J.J. Watt getting doubled like that, that really just leaves Whitney Merciless. And he leads the team with 4 sacks total. You would think it would be J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt only has 2 sacks. And J.J. Watt only has 7 tackles for this team so far. But Whitney Merciless leads the team with 4 sacks, and he has the team's only interception. And that's about it for their defense. I mean, you also have their defensive tackle, their nose tackle, DJ Reader, and he has a sack and a half. But those are really the main big guys on defense. You have J.J. Watt, DJ Reader, and Whitney Merciless. Whitney Merciless is probably going to be the main problem, especially if this Carolina O-line they need to step up. And that's what I was going to say. For the Carolina Panthers to come out with a win in NRG Stadium, a few things need to happen. One, the O-line needs to be huge. Like, huge. Because even though their defense isn't that good, knowing like how kind of weak our offensive line, especially now that since Trey Turner is out and they don't know how long he's going to be out, they're probably gonna blitz a lot. But the good news is, though, Darrell Williams, who is at left tackle, will now move back to right tackle. He even said they interviewed him today, and he said, I'm more right-handed, so I feel so much better. And I was thinking, then why in the heck did Ron Rivera switch this man to left tackle when he can't even block a fly at left tackle? But he flourishes in right tackle. We saw it last week against the Cardinals, which means that the rookie, Greg Little, will continue to start at left tackle. And that's good because he's a rookie. He needs some more experience, and he did well last week against the Cardinals. Again, I know it's just the Cardinals. They're a newer team. Not really a newer team, but have a newer scheme and newer players, and they're trying to just get everything together. But we'll really see what this Carolina offensive line is made of this week against those boys. Because, like I said, J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless, man, it's a good thing that they got rid of Jadeveon Clowney and he's in Seattle. Because, man, and especially if Darrell Williams is still at left tackle, Jadeveon Clowney will be getting to Kyle Allen all day. And he probably would get injured. And then we will have Will Greer starting. I mean, some people in the fan base would like that, but that's not what it's about. What else the Panthers need to do in order to come out with a win, at least for the offensive side, besides the O-line being huge and Greg Little doing his thing, and Darrell Williams getting moved back to right tackle, Curtis Samuel needs more touches. Like last week, Curtis Samuel needs more touches. He's shown that he is the best wide receiver on the team in terms of route running, and he has the speed. DJ needs some more. DJ's going to get his. We already know DJ Moore is going to get his, and with him and Curtis's speed, it's just ridiculous. So that's why I keep saying, if this offensive line can just create enough time and Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore can just use their route running and get space, Kyle Allen will dime them up all day long. All day. And with Curtis Samuel getting more touches, it just goes without saying, open up the playbook. The play calling last week, Norv Turner, that is the best play calling this man has had since like last season. Like, not even on our losing streak. It was still pretty bad, that 8-game losing streak. But this is probably one of the best games that Norv Turner has called under Coach Rivera. So, you just need to open up the playbook. On the defensive side, they've got to pressure. They got to pressure the Cardinals. I mean, but we can't blitz too much. We can't do that. Just play, because the Panthers love to play zone defense. They just need to have tighter zone coverage instead of just playing prevent D. Because blitzing against a team like the Texans, and you have a mobile, agile, elusive quarterback like Deshaun Watson, he'll get out of that. It's not like you're going up against 5'10" Kyler Murray and he can't see over the middle. Deshaun Watson is tall. I think he's like 6'2", 6'3"-ish. He can see over the middle. So if the pocket collapses, he's gonna get out of there fast. It's not gonna be like Murray where you're chasing a short little guy around, but Deshaun Watson will get out of there. So if they can just contain Deshaun Watson, then this defense will be fine. And if the offense can just come out and score points like they did, like from that second drive and onward, and then have the Houston Texans pinned back, then yes, you can go ahead, load up the box, go ahead, dial up some blitzes, and see what happens. But no, in a close game, no, you don't want to blitz. You do not want to blitz. I would say for the defense, I think Brian Burns, the rookie, number 53 from Florida State, look for him to have a big game. And this will be a really good test for him too. A rookie going up against, again, he's going up against a dual threat quarterback. He went up against Kyler Murray last week and got to him once, but Deshaun Watson is on a whole nother level, man. Deshaun Watson is actually my second favorite quarterback behind Cam Newton currently right now. The things that Deshaun Watson does, man, it's just incredible to see. And I'm really hyped for this game. Like I said, I was really hoping that was going to be Cam versus Deshaun, the two Georgia boys going back at it from College Park and from Gainesville going at it. But like I said, Cam's going to heal up. But I still think it's going to be a shootout. I have a feeling it's going to be a shootout, and I have a feeling it's going to start out slow. The game's going to start out slow. And then by the time when it gets to the second quarter, it's going to be guns a-blazing. We're going to have an old Western Texas shootout. But ultimately, yeah, Brian Burns, see him having a big game. I believe that James Bradbury will stop DeAndre Hopkins. I think DeAndre Hopkins will get a touchdown, but I feel like Kenny Stills and Will Fuller might have a bigger day. But we'll see. Knowing Deshaun and D-Hop is his safety blanket, he'll probably try up James Bradbury. So James has got to be ready. So my keys to the game are O-line needs to block badly. Just keep opening up the playbook. Let Curtis Samuel get his touches. You already know DJ Moore's going to get his. Christian McCaffrey is going to get his because Norv Turner overworks him. For the defense, pressure Deshaun Watson. Get a sack and wrap him up, please. We can't do no straight arm tag. With Deshaun Watson, you got to get him and take him down. Like you just can't give him a sliver of room, and he will shrug you off, and he's slippery. He will get out of there in a hurry. And Bradbury going up against DeAndre Hopkins should be good. Dante Jackson against Kenny Stills should be good. I still like Will Fuller he'll probably be the main one carrying them if Bradbury gets DeAndre Hopkins. But overall, I feel like the final score of this game will be 34-31. I am pretty hyped about this game, and we'll really see what Kyle Allen's made of, man. And until Cam Newton gets healthy, I'm all on the Kyle Allen bandwagon. Like I said, QB number 2, or should I say KA7. I'm all in on him. And so with that, that's all I have for you guys today. And stay tuned for when I upload the post game. Hopefully when we win. Like I said, hopefully then we'll be back at 500. But other than that, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Keep pounding and go Panthers.